Hello students, we are going to discuss the chapter 1 Introduction of Drugstore and Business Management. The syllabus for this trade, industry and commerce functions, subdivisions of commerce, introduction to elements of economics and management. Contents of this chapter include introduction, commerce, trade, economics, management, industry. First, we take introduction part. Human life is based upon the principle of work. One has to work to earn his livelihood. Pharmacy is one of the professions. The Pharmacy Council of India has introduced a new subject named Drugstore and Business Management. The syllabus of this subject is divided into two parts. Parts 1 include commerce and parts 2 include accountancy. The purpose of this subject is to familiarize the students with the basic concept of business, its proper management, sources of finances in order to run it successfully, and the way and means to note down various transactions in books of account with a view to having a permanent record of the same. Now we take the topic commerce. Commerce is that aspect of business activity which is concerned with the distribution of goods and services produced by the industry. Commerce serves as a valuable link between the producer and the consumers. According to James Stephenson, commerce embraces all those processes which help to break the barrier between producers and consumers. It is the sum total of those processes which are engaged in the removal of hindrances of person, place, and time in exchange of commodities. Components or subdivision of commerce, it includes trade and adds to trade. First, trade. Define how we define trade. Trade means buying, selling, and exchange of goods or services for money or money's worth. Trade may be described as the nucleus of commercial activity. Dealers or distributors for the distribution of goods from the production unit to the consumers at far off places are known as traders. Then we take classification of trade. Trade is classified into two parts: domestic trade, international trade. Domestic trade is further classified into wholesale trade and retail trade. International trade is classified into import trade, export trade, and entry port trade. First, we take internal or domestic trade. It is also known as home trade and consists of sale and exchange of goods within the boundaries of a country. Internal trade may be local trade, state trade, or interstate trade. Internal trade is further classified into wholesale trade. Wholesalers buy the goods in large quantities directly from the manufacturer and sell them in small quantities to retailers who are in direct contact with the consumers. The wholesalers serve as a link between the manufacturer of goods and the retailers. In pharmaceutical trade, the wholesalers are classified into four categories: super distributor or super stockist, stockist, wholesaler dealers or sub stockist, and clearing and forwarding agent. Retail trade. When the goods are distributed in small quantities to the consumer, it is known as retail trade. A retailer serves as a link between the wholesaler and actual consumer. Next type of trade is international or foreign trade. When goods or services are exchanged between two or more than two countries, then it is known as foreign trade. Foreign trade is conducted mostly on wholesale basis and is classified as import trade. When trader brings the goods from foreign countries to his own country, it is known as import trade. Export trade. When the goods of one country are sold to other countries, it is known as export trade. And third is entry port trade. Entry port trade is also known as re-export trade. It involves the import of foreign goods of one country with the idea of exporting the same to other countries and making profit in the process. Next is aids to trade or functions of commerce or branches of commerce, means which activities are revolving around trade. The following activities or following functions of commerce are transport, warehousing, banking, insurance, packaging, advertising, and publicity. Now we discuss each in detail. First, transport. Transport removes the hindrance of place. It is the process of carrying the goods and persons from one place to another. It assists trade by moving goods from the place of its production to location where they are to be sold for consumption. A well-knit transport system plays a very important role in the economic development, social welfare, and political integration of any country. There are various modes of transport available for moving the goods, drugs, and pharmaceuticals from one place to another, which includes road, rail, air, water, pipeline transport, etc. Out of all these modes of transport, railways are considered as the most effective means of movement of goods because goods are safer than in road transport since they are carried in covered wagons and not in makeshift arrangements like in road transport. Air transport is used at the time of emergency or for import and export of goods from one country to other country. Next, warehousing or storage. Storage is a process of keeping, holding, and preserving the goods which are to be used at a later stage. When this process is done at a large scale and in specialized manner, it is termed as warehousing. Warehousing removes hindrance of time in trade by storing the goods which may be supplied to the consumers as and when required. Warehouses are the places where goods are stored. Storage facilities are provided by three types of warehouses: private warehouses, public warehouses, bonded warehouses. In private warehouses, these are operated by big business concerns or wholesalers for the storage of their own stocks. Public warehouses are operated by business firms which provide storage facilities to the general public for a certain charges. Bonded warehouses are licensed to accept imported goods for storage until the payment of custom duties are made. These are situated at ports. The storage of goods is necessary due to the following reasons: to maintain stability in prices, to ensure availability of goods throughout the year, in spite of the fact that same is produced only during a particular season, to ensure continuous availability of goods in the market, its proper storage is essential. Certain goods such as drug chemicals are required to be properly stored to prevent their destruction or damage. Next branch of commerce is banking. Hindrance of finance is removed by banking. Finance or capital is the lifeblood of any business. A large amount of money is required for the production and marketing of goods and services. The finance can be raised from own resources, commercial banks, shares, debenture, financial institutions, trade creditors, etc. Banking system provides the following services to its customers. It provides loans and advances for purchase of raw materials and machinery. It also provides overdraft facilities. It allows the facilities of discounting of bills. It provides foreign exchange, issuing letters of credits, thus giving assistance to foreign trade. Next branch is insurance. Insurance removes the hindrance of risk. Any business activity entails various types of risk. Example: fire, accidents, theft, storm, flood, earthquake, price reduction, changes in demand and supply conditions, dishonesty of employees and partners, strikes, lockouts and pilferage, etc. All the above mentioned risks are covered by insurance companies provided the necessary insurance has been done and premiums have been regularly paid. An insurance company performs a useful service by compensating the traders for the losses due to fire, theft, flood, or other natural calamities, etc. Insurance is of following types. Life insurance provides for payment of a stipulated sum of money to the insured person on expiry of a specified number of years or on his/her earlier death. Fire insurance: the insurance company undertakes to make a payment equal to the value of goods lost or damage suffered as a result of fire. Marine insurance: the risks covered are loss or damage to in the insured vessel, cargo, or passengers during transportation on the high seas. General insurance covers risk of loss due to theft or specified happenings. Next part: packaging. Packaging removes hindrance of risk of spoilage. Packing refers to the wrapping, crating, filling and compression of goods, whereas packaging is concerned with the creation and designing of proper package for different products. Proper packaging is also essential according to Drugs and Cosmetic Act and Rules 1945. It helps in identification of product if it is packed with a particular mark and design. Proper packaging also avoids deterioration of product. It also ensures the supply of products of right quantity, right quality and weight to the consumers. Next branch is advertising and publicity. Advertising and publicity removes hindrance of knowledge or information gap about the availability and uses of goods between traders and consumers. The main objective of advertisement is to create demand and to increase the sales. The various methods used for advertisement are TV, radio, newspaper, magazines, wall posters, pamphlets, free samples, trade fairs, exhibitions, balloons, and window display, etc. The majority of pharmaceutical products are ethical products, and the direct advertisement is prohibited according to Drug and Magic Remedies Act, that is also known as Objectionable Advertisement Act. However, general or home remedies products such as pain balm, inhalers, iodex, antiseptic creams, and other products which do not require a prescription for their purchase can be advertised by any of the direct methods of advertisement. Next topic, we are going to discuss economics. The word economics is derived from two Greek words. Oikos means household and neime means management. Thus, economics means the management of household. Economic deals with the proper use and allocation of resources for the fulfillment of various human wants and maintenance of growth and stability. In order to study the elements of economics, the following aspects of economics may be taken into consideration: economic activities and economic system. First, we take different types of economic activities. People are engaged in different types of economic activities to earn money, which are called occupation. The occupations which are generally adopted by human beings are classified into following three groups: business, profession, employment. Business. Business means that economic activity which is primarily done with the purpose of earning profit. It involves production of goods and services on a regular basis and carries an element of risk. Profession. Profession means an occupation which involves rendering of personal services of a specialized nature based on professional education, training, and knowledge. For example, physician, pharmacist. Employment means a personal service rendered by a person to an organization under a contract of employment or service. Next, economic system. An economic system denotes the economic relationship which arise in the community from the organization or mode of production and distribution. The economic system should be simple and easy for human beings to satisfy their wants, but it all depends on the kind of economic system which is adopted by a particular country, that how the resources are allocated, prices are fixed, etc. Next, types of economic systems. First, capitalist system. According to capitalist system, there is freedom of every kind. The producers are free to acquire any property and produce any product. The consumers are free to use any product and in any amount to satisfy their wants. They also have a liberty to spend their income in any way they like. According to this system, the means of production and distribution are generally in the hands of private owners who operate them to earn profits. In this system, role of government is to protect the producers and consumers so as to avoid unhealthy competition among producers and to provide essential services to the public economically. Next system is social system. According to this system, the large and basic industries are owned and controlled by the government. Even the distribution is also controlled by the government. Next type of economic system include mixed economy. In mixed economy, the activities of both the system, that is capitalist system and the social system, are used. It means some economic activities are controlled by the government and some economic activities are kept open for the public. Now we discuss management, specifically pharmaceutical management. The word management denotes the process of conducting and managing various business activities. Management is principally a task of planning, coordinating, motivating, and controlling the efforts of others towards a specific objective. There are three levels of management: top level management, middle level management, and lower level management. First, we discuss top level management. It consists of board of directors and managing director. Top management is the ultimate source of authority which frame the policies for the enterprise. Function of top level management includes laying down the overall objectives and broad policies of the enterprise, organizing the business into various departments and divisions, appointing department manager, issuing guidelines for head of the department, coordinating the work of different departments, making plan for the long-term stability of the business. Next, middle level management. It generally consists of head of departments. In small enterprises, there is one layer of middle management, but in big enterprises, there may be senior middle level managers and junior middle level managers. Next is lower level management. The lower level management includes supervisors, foremen, superintendents, sale officers, account officer, etc. They issue orders, instructions, and guide day-to-day activities. They evaluate operating performances and they maintain close personal contact with workers to ensure discipline and teamwork. Now we discuss function of management. Main functions are planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling, and coordinating. First we discuss planning. Planning is an intellectual or mental exercise requiring imagination and judgment. It helps in proper utilization of resources. It aims at achieving the desired results. Planning is the process of deciding in advance what to do, how to do it, when to do it, and who is to do it. Next is organizing. The term organization means a group of people contributing their efforts towards the attainment of certain common objectives. It is to organize the enterprise by grouping similar activities together with a view to attain the planned objectives, defining the responsibilities of the people in the organization, delegating appropriate authority to them to discharge their respective responsibilities to fulfill the objectives of the enterprise. Next function of management is staffing. It involves the process of filling the vacant position by selecting right person for the right job at right time. Hence, everything will occur in the right manner. Staffing consists of following activities: manpower planning, recruitment, selection, replacement, training and development of employees, appraisal, promotion and transfer of employees, employee remuneration, etc. Next function includes directing. Directing involves issuing orders and instructions, motivating and leading subordinates, harmonizing organizational goals with interest of employees. The managers have the responsibility of guiding and supervising their subordinates. Next function is controlling. Controlling means the steps taken to ensure that the performance of organization conform to the plans. There should be an adequate control so that predetermined planned objectives are achieved. And last function is coordinating. The objectives of an organization can be fulfilled only by coordination of work in different departments. Coordination is orderly arrangement of group efforts. It does not arise spontaneously. It has to be created by deliberate efforts. It consists of three elements: timing, balancing, and integrating. It is the duty of management to see that all the activities are carried on by experts and different departments are in coordination and contribute to achievement of objective of organization. Now we take the next topic, industry. The term industry refers to that part of business activity which relates to production, processing or fabrication of products. The goods are called consumer goods if used by the final consumers, and capital or producer goods if used in production of other goods. Classification of industries. First, on the basis of types of goods. Industry is classified into four types: genetic industries, extractive industries, manufacturing industries, construction industries. Manufacturing industries is further classified into analytical industries, synthetic industries, processing industries, and assembly industries. First, we take genetic industries. These industries are involved in producing and multiplying certain species of plants and animals for purpose of earning profit from their sale. Example: breeding farms, poultry farms. Next, extractive industries. These industries concerned with extraction or drawing out the products from natural sources such as soil, air or water. Example: fishing, mining, agriculture. Then construction industries. These industries are engaged in construction of roads, buildings, canals, bridges, dams, etc. Then manufacturing industries. These industries are engaged in production of goods wherein the raw materials or semi-manufactured goods are converted into finished products. Example: pharmaceutical industry. Manufacturing industry are further subdivided into analytical industries, synthetic industries, processing industries, and assembling industries. First, we discuss analytical industries. These industries are engaged in manufacturing of products by analyzing and separating different elements from the same material. For example, fractional distillation of crude oil in refinery industries. Next, synthetic industries, where two or more than two materials are mixed together in a manufacturing process to make a new product. Products like various chemicals, drugs, soaps, cosmetics, fertilizers are produced by synthetic industries. Next, processing industries. Raw materials are processed through different stages of production to produce final product. For example, drugs, pharmaceutical industries, paper, sugar industries, etc. Next, assembling industries, where the parts or components are assembled to make a useful product. For example, production of cars, scooters, television, computers, etc. On the basis of size and investment, industries are classified into light industries and heavy industries. Light industries, these industries involve a small capital investment and have a short duration production cycle. Example, industries involved in the production of collapsible tubes, rubber tubes, tin containers. Heavy industries, these industries need a big capital investment and also involve a longer production cycle. Example, iron and steel industries. Industries are classified on the basis of capital employed into large scale industries and small scale industries. Large scale industries involves higher capital, large number of workers, machinery and tools. Small scale industries, capital involved is not more than 10 lakhs in plant and machinery. Last is official classification of industries. The industries are classified according to the type of products produced by them as given under the first schedule to the Industries Development and Regulation Act 1951 by the government. For example, drugs and pharmaceuticals, medical and surgical appliances, cosmetic and toilet preparations. So, this is the introduction part of drugstore and business management, and which covers all these topic: trade, industry, commerce, management, etc. Thank you.